Welcome to USFL Recap, brought to you by Driving to the Top Productions. You can find us on YouTube, Twitch, and soon to be some other platforms. I'm here today to do the USFL Recap with two very familiar guests. First, I'll bring on Chris Berman Jr., a.k.a. Jamie Malloy. How we doing, man?
We're doing great, Evan. I'm always honored to be called Chris Berman Jr. It's USFL Recap Week 6. Some great games yesterday, and I love to always be introduced by you guys. And Evan, it's great to meet you again. So thanks for having me on the show again. I can't wait to do this.
Likewise, it's ever since we got first started with the guest appearance on the XFL, we've hit the ground running, and I am glad that you are an addition to our group here. I love everything that you do, and I can't wait to see what else you do. But now we get to bring on the founder, the creator, the man, the myth, the legend, the Wholly Pittsburgh Steelers fan who's going to finish fourth in the division this year. Sports Talking It. How we doing, man?
Listen, if we finish fourth in division, that's where we're scheduled to finish. So it'll be right on cue.
What's up, man?
But we are scheduled to have also 10 to 11 wins the whole freaking division. So I think the division's going to be a mess.
I actually have you guys going 9-8, us going 12-2. Baltimore and Bengals win the division, or at the top of the division.
Gotcha, buddy.
But we're gonna go ahead and jump right in.
We're gonna have that talk soon, right?
I'm waiting on you and Matt.
All right. Well, I'm waiting on you.
Is he ready?
He said soon.
Anyway, we're gonna jump into the first game of the weekend, our first Saturday game with the Pittsburgh Maulers and the Memphis Showboats.
That's tough for you to say,
tell.
Isn't it? That's tough for you to say. That's tough for you to say, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Say it. Pittsburgh.
Look,
I say Cleveland, fine. Cleveland.
You're a Guardians fan.
Yeah, I'm not a Flusher Down fan, though.
Hey, we got to go through your – never mind. That's going to sound so bad. I'm not going to say that anyway. Anyway, we're going to cover the – we're going to cover the Maulers and the Showboats here, a game where we couldn't really tell who was winning until the scoreboard showed up because their jerseys look alike. But I'm going to give it to Chris Berman Jr. here to give him a chance to get the show rolling.
Thank you very much, Evan. All right, so you want to talk about a team that had the number one defense going in against Todd Haley and big game Cole Kelly and the up-and-coming Memphis Showboats. This was a game that had more steamrolling than an actual showboat back in the 1980s. So here we go, folks. The first quarter, Memphis starts it out with Alex Kessman kicking a 46-yard field goal, good. The Grizzlies lead 3-0 at the end of the first quarter. Then we go to the second. Big game Cole Kelly. There's a touchdown pass to Vinny Popale. And touchdown, extra point, good. 10-0, Showboats, beep, beep. Then we move on to another Kessman 40-yard field goal, good. All the field goals are coming from the USFL this year. 13-0, Memphis. Then we move on to the biggest play of the year where former LSU wide receiver Derek Dillon, who ran a 4.29 and was actually faster than current Minnesota wide receiver and teammate of LSU, Justin Jefferson, who ran a 4.29 40-yard dash. Derek Dillon, Chris Blewett, missed the field goal. No good. Dillon takes it to the house, 109 yards. He could go all the way, and he does. 109-yard touchdown. That's the USFL record. Memphis leads 19-0 at halftime. Then at the end, in the third quarter, Kessman hits his third field goal, good. The final score, Todd Haley and the Memphis Showboats, after starting out 0-3, turned to Cole Kelly, and now we're 3-3. Even though they're in last place in the division, have won 3 in a row, beat the Pittsburgh Maulers 22-0, folks.
Well, that was a great intro from Chris Berman Jr. And I do have some questions here as we get into this game. We look at the time of possession. It was only a 8-minute, 9-minute time of possession difference between the two teams. Shared the same amount of drives. Only one team was able to make it to the red zone this game. So the question that I want to give to Adam, are you concerned with what's going on with the Pittsburgh Maulers to the point where it seems that they're starting to figure it out, and then they have a good game, and then they fall back off the mountain, and then they get back up, and then they fall off the mountain? So what are your thoughts here so far on the Pittsburgh Maulers?
I don't get it. They had 227 yards of offense, and they held the Showboats to 127 yards. It just, I don't know. It just doesn't add up. The rushing though, the Showboats almost did have 100. I think they had 96. Let me check. Yeah, 96 on 31 attempts. The Maulers' offense outplayed the Memphis defense. Just came down to you got to stop kicking these 59-yard field goals in this league. You got to stop kicking these 51-yarders. We missed 6 points right there. One of them turned into 6 points the other way, obviously, whenever we got taking it back to the house down there. Jamie going nuts about that call. Anyway, 109 yards. That has to be the longest return in USFL record. I did not look it up.
It is.
This defense is this defense is one of the best in the leagues. They only allowed 13 points. I don't know how the punt return goes. I don't think it goes against defensive points or the field goal attempt because the offense is on the field. So this defense is good. The offense finally looked good. Troy Williams didn't. They brought in the backup for a little bit. I think it was just Morgan just to get his feet wet because the game was well out of hand by the time they brought him in. He did turn it over on his first drive. But yeah, I mean, this team's not bad. They just missed it. A couple plays turned this whole game around.
So before I pass it over to Jamie, my question to you is, do you think a trade or a change at quarterback can be the solution for this team? Because as you said, they got the defense, and I feel like they're just a few spark plays or a little bit more consistency on the offense from the quarterback position to really turn it around and take over the USFL. Do you think that's an option for this team?
Well, they did. Obviously, they put in Morgan just to see what he got. I mean, we all have bad days,
right? But I know that you're a fan of Caleb Love, who we're going to talk about a little later.
Josh Love.
Yes, Josh Love. I don't know where I got Caleb from, but anyway, keep it moving. Do you think there's a Luis Perez moment coming for your Pittsburgh Maulers?
That's a good question. I didn't read a lot after the game. I don't know. Jamie, you happened to catch practice today. You said Blewett was looking a lot better today and everything else. What'd they do at quarterback?
To me, I think it's one of those things where coach goes, "Hey, look, it was in the press conference. Look, it wasn't really one player or one thing. It was totally on me. I didn't prepare us for that game. It was my fault, and this was our one bad game all year. We've been in a lot of games, and the only reason why I pulled Troy was because the game was getting out of hand, and James provided us a spark, and Troy didn't really do anything wrong. And I'm going to go back to Troy for this week, and I'm expecting him to play better because it wasn't his fault, and we'll see what happens. But like I said, they do have this young rookie that they drafted in the second round, Lindsey Scott Jr. So maybe they eventually activate him to the roster and see what he does. But they still trust Troy Williams to be the guy right now because, like I said, coach feels like that game was on him. It wasn't really on Troy.
So, did you have any other thoughts on the game, Jamie, before we go to our next game? Any
Yeah, like that
standout
was
players?
that was a game I was worried about. I told Adam last week because New Orleans was 4-0, and I told Marcus he thought for sure that Memphis was going to roll over Memphis for New Orleans and they were going to go undefeated. And I told Marcus, I said, don't say that because Memphis, don't underestimate Memphis because Memphis is going to be one of those turnaround teams. Because even though they were 0-3, you could see that they were getting better when they switched to Cole Kelly, that they were starting to get hot. And you and I talked about this, Adam, that with Pittsburgh, if we don't take Memphis seriously, it could get ugly. And look what happened. It did. I don't think we were prepared for them, and it was a 22-0 loss. So yeah, we weren't prepared, and we didn't take them seriously. It was just like New Orleans didn't take him seriously either.
Does anybody have a player of the game? I really don't have one for this matchup. Does
It had
anybody
to be
else?
Dylan with that punt, with that field goal return.
But Tizino got USFL co-defensive player of the week with Ginda for um, Memphis with Michigan for defensive player of the week. The
Absolutely.
Mullers guy did.
And for those that don't know, the young man Dylan, who brought that kick return all the way back, did the same thing against the University of Alabama when he was a defensive back over at Auburn. So it seems like this might be a little niche for him that he could be picked up on as a returner in general. But we're going to go ahead and go to the second game, which is, I want to believe to say, the Birmingham Stallions and the Michigan Panthers. This game turned out to be a 27-13 win for the Birmingham Stallions as the Panthers fall short again. This game looked, to me, I have more questions about the Panthers than I do the Stallions. I feel like the Stallions are starting to come into their own as well as the Stars and the Showboats. Even the Gamblers, I feel like those four teams are really gonna pull away as the season continues. But as we focus on this game, time of possession wasn't close. Total yards was almost what, 10? Yeah, I'd say about 10, 20 yards more. Where the game for me was won was red zone efficiency, with both teams having the Stallions having 4 red zone attempts with 3 touchdowns, and the Panthers having 3 attempts with 1 touchdown. I'll go ahead and pass this one on to Adam for his thoughts.
We're on that second game. Hold on. Go. Where'd my notes go? I tried doing it different this week, guys, and keep my notes on the computer screen, and I keep clicking off the wrong things. So that is my fault.
You sure Puppy Dog didn't chew your cords over there?
Oh, listen, that little shithead fucking shit all over the floor today.
So she's in trouble. Fair enough.
No, she's not in trouble. I think like she's eating some bad food or really stressed out because my kids are at my mom's and I went and saw them the last couple of days and she hates it. So
Fair enough.
anyway, that's my issues and not yours.
Hey, we're family here, man.
I know.
But while you pull your notes up, I'll have Jamie give his, and then we'll come back to you. So, Jamie, what were your thoughts on this game?
I hate to trigger Adam, but Michigan, it's the same old story. They know why they lost the game, but Coach Nolan doesn't seem to know
Mike
why.
Nolan.
Mike Nolan knows why. They keep playing Josh Love every game, and it's like they're not going to keep winning playing him every single game. Your defense gives you a chance to win every game, but Josh Love screws up for you every single time. He's a pocket quarterback, but defenses are too good to understand that you send pressure. He's got no mobility, and he's going to get sacked every single time. At least when you watch Alex Magoo, he's got running ability. He's going to be able to escape the pocket and run it in for like 20 yards and get a touchdown. That's the difference of the game. When it was 20-13, late in the fourth quarter, he ran it in for a 10-yard touchdown, put the game away. They won 27-13.
You ready over there, Adam?
No.
Well, that was the question that I was going to bring up. So,
I know you
Jamie,
wanted to talk about Josh Love. I know this.
Yeah, I want to. So I'll pass the question around. So, Jamie, with your recent statement as far as it goes with Love, do you feel that even though he is a pocket passer, are there some changes or some things they could do within the offense? Excuse me, to get that pressure off of him.
Yes, and I think they did start to do. They started to do it, like do what New England did with Tom Brady, run some short pass, quick screens, or dink and dunk passes to get the ball fast out of his hands, because he does have a quick release when he's running screens and short passes. I did notice that. It was effective when they did go to that in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it was. Do you think there could be a focus for this team to get another receiver or another running back involved in the rounds, jet sweeps, things like that can also help this quarterback survive?
Absolutely, yeah. You can always add to this offense, yeah. Besides a Reggie Corbin, go out and get like a not a Darren Sproles, but somebody that's like of that skill set that can run a jet sweep.
Absolutely. I'm sitting here looking at the stats now, and you have Quinn, who had 7 receptions for 108 and still didn't get into the end zone. You look at Cole Huctini, who had the only touchdown, but they only went to him twice, and he's averaging a first down every catch. So, or around a first down every catch. My question for them is, for me personally, when your offense is struggling, I'm not spreading the ball around. I got a couple guys that I know that can do something, and until you stop it, I'm going to keep going to them, and I'm going to find every way that I can. And I feel like that's something that they haven't done here. I feel like to add to what Jamie has said, I feel like those are the two things that can be done to make an effective change and save the season for the Panthers. Because coming into the season, we really thought that the Panthers were going to be the team to beat. And it seems like they are falling apart as teams have realized that bringing more pressure than you can handle to deal with Josh Love. Why do I keep wanting to say Caleb? With Josh Love is the answer to slow down this offense.
I thought for sure you'd want to say Jordan Love.
No love for him either. But I will admit, if the Packers pull it off with him, they got something going on with the league. But we'll talk about that another day.
At least Jordan Love has scrambling abilities, and he can run, though. That's the thing.
Absolutely. But you're telling me you go from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers to Josh Love, and he does the same thing that the last two did? Come on, bro. Something ain't right.
Going from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers, at least you're going from pocket passer to pocket passer. Going from Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love, you're going from pocket passer to dual threat. That's why.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll talk about this
Yeah.
backstage.
That's the difference, obviously, but that's another day for ESPN 30 for 30. But
Absolutely. So we ready to go to the next game, gentlemen?
yeah, we are.
So these Sunday's games were definitely my games to watch as far as the weekend went. But we're gonna go first with the New Orleans Breakers and the Philadelphia Stars. And I was really excited to watch this game because I was a fan of the Stars last season, and I really wanted to see how they progressed and how they would manage through the season, having some early struggles. And to hold this Breakers offense that at one point was mentioned that they might just go undefeated, to turn around and now be 4-2 as the Philadelphia Stars win this game 16-10, a familiar score we saw on Sunday. What were your thoughts, Jamie, on this game?
New Orleans is still a very well coached team. I still think Wes Hill is one of the best backs in the USFL. He's just struggled the last two games because he's lucky to still be playing because he could have been out for the year against Memphis because he survived an X-ray that showed he could have broken his leg that would have kept him out, but he's still playing, which is good. And I like Coach John DiFilippo. I still trust him because he was a Super Bowl winning assistant with the Eagles with Nick Foles, and was part of the offensive staff that ran the Philly special against New England. So, he's a great offensive mind. But yeah, the Philadelphia Stars, as Coldplay would say, they got a sky full of stars, and they just start playing well. And the only difference is this year's Case Cookis has been more careful with running because, as everybody knows, last year he hurt his fibula, and now he's got to be more careful with running because he's got a disc in it that he's trying to protect this year. But yeah, he definitely ran a lot more in this game than he has all year.
Absolutely. I was definitely surprised. The pick six was a big one for me. Sports talking it. What were your thoughts on the game?
I don't know how the Stars win this game. I really don't. They're 0 for 3 in the red zone. I mean, they outplayed them. They just outplayed them. You know how sometimes you look ahead to that next week game? That's what I
Yeah,
feel happened for the Breakers here. They were already playing in Birmingham next week against the Stallions. They
that's
forgot to prepare for the Stars.
that's a great point. I think the one thing that I had mentioned a few weeks ago was that when the Stars defense really got it together, that they would be able to take off. I think that pick six was really what won them the game, even though it was early on in the game. And are we finally starting to see the limitations of the Breakers quarterback? His name escapes me right now. Bethel Thompson. Are we finally starting to see the flaws in his game of him being more of a pocket passer than a dual threat guy as this team goes? Because, yes, he's throwing for damn near 200 yards a game, if not more. He's had the record twice this year, I believe, as far as passing yards go. So I'll pass this up to both of you, or for whoever wants to answer first. Do you feel like the Bethel Thompson excitement is going to die down as the season continues?
Yeah, I think they may have to go with a younger quarterback. And if so, they may have to start running plays from the shotgun instead of going under center with Bethel Thompson. I think that's kind of hurting his development a little bit. They're running too many plays under center when most teams, it's all about going from the gun now,
Fair enough. Does anybody have
this goes back to your whole thing, Evan, where you said at the end of the season, 6 of 8 teams will have a running quarterback?
Yeah.
That you feel that this is starting to factor in now?
Yes, I do. And the reason that's actually a great question. That was something I was going to save for the end of the show, but um, I just Jamie and I had a great conversation around week 8 of the XFL, which you can watch on our channel under XFL football for driving to the top production. So we'll plug that in right quick that you guys can definitely watch that. And that's brought to you by a hopeful sponsor one day. Oh, the camera won't pick it up, but I was going to say for Arizona Drinks. But anyway,
Oh, is that what
we're
you're drinking?
seeing.
I thought you were drinking a lemonade and twisted tea.
Oh, no, no, no. I'm saving that for with dinner. You've been over my house lately? Anyway, I just think the way that we're looking at the college game, we always felt like the college game limited quarterbacks because quarterbacks had to adjust to the NFL. And what the argument that I've always had was that no, the NFL needs to adjust, and these other leagues need to adjust to what spring ball is for high schoolers, and that 7-on-7 ball where they're able to move and they're putting more athletic quarterbacks back there. Um, and then you look at what happened in the NFL, and you're looking at even teams like the Steelers. You're looking at teams like the Bengals, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts. The guys like Kirk Cousins are falling down. The Jimmy Garoppolos are not working. You see all these teams are trying to find mobile backups and mobile starters. And then you talk about the XFL and you see how all of these teams started out with um, pocket passers, statue passers, as I like to call them, and then how a lot of these teams transition to mobile quarterbacks. And if their mobile quarterback was able to hit an open guy and stay healthy, these teams carried themselves all the way through. You can look at the defenders as an obvious thing where they had two mobile quarterbacks that carried them through the first, want to say 5-6 games, to then turn around and give the keys fully to Jordan Ta'amu. So it makes me question what is going to happen as we start to see these teams carry out this USFL season. Because if you look at back last year, Birmingham's quarterback was the most mobile quarterback, and he carried them all the way through. And now you're looking at the teams now that have mobile quarterbacks or have a dual threat quarterback that is allowing them to put tape over the hole as far as pressure goes. You look at Kenny Bahar, you look at the Generals quarterback, you look at all these guys, and we're asking ourselves now, with 4 weeks left and the playoffs left, of who's going to be the team to switch to the mobile quarterback first and really take over this league. So I think that we're finally starting to see it. I think it took a little bit longer than what I would have expected. But the answer to your question is yes. I think that the mobile quarterback is what's going to flourish in these leagues.
I completely agree. But for some reason, I guess the mobile quarterbacks work better in backyard football like this than it does in the NFL.
Would you really say that it works better? Who's your last pure pocket quarterback to win an MVP in Super Bowl? Brady?
Well, I mean,
or Eli or Joe Flacco, but
and people are going to kill me for this, but if we're being honest, those two guys weren't really sustainable as far as a top tier quarterback goes in the NFL. Joe Flacco had a hot year when he bet on himself, and for the 2 years that they played the Patriots, everything went right for the Giants. And it was really their defenses that won in those games anyway.
Right.
Not to take away from Eli. He's a great quarterback, but if we're going to be honest about the situation, let's really be honest about it. Because you can go back and look at McNabb, Michael Vick, Steve Young, Randall Cunningham. Although those guys were not the normal, they really did succeed in a time where even Steve McNair, they really succeeded in a time where the league was not ready for those guys. But now we're looking at it. Every team, even if it's a big quarterback, like for Buffalo, and Jamie can allude to this, Um, Josh Allen can move.
Mm-hmm.
So I really think this change is going to happen to the point where we're not going to have a pocket quarterback anymore.
Mm-hmm.
with the RPOs and everything else.
Kenny Pickett's considered a dual threat too. Believe it or not, he is.
Not according to Evan Littlehands.
Mm.
He can run, but the question is when he gets tackled, is he going to fumble the football?
No, but I've seen him. He can run and he can scramble. Though I saw him do it against the Bills. He's capable.
Yes, he absolutely is. And if I'm not giving a Steelers fan a hard time, Kenny Pickett does have a lot of potential. It's can he put it together and will he be able to hold up in cold weather and playoff weather? But we'll go ahead and jump to our final game here, which is the New Jersey Generals and the Houston Gamblers with a familiar score of 16-10. And I am more than happy to say that the Houston Gamblers look like they have figured it out. I will pass this on to Chris Berman Jr. and allow him to go over the recap before we talk about the game.
Okay, now once dear relative of mine, my grandpa used to say, Jamie, there's this thing called the law of average, right? And the law of average, what it is that it basically things are cyclical. Now, this is very, very true. As this game, you had the New Jersey Generals, where last year at this point, they were sitting at, let's say they were 4-1 and they were winning all their close games, and they were taking on a Houston, and they had Deontay Johnson not hurt and was starting at quarterback. Now we all know they were on their way and were 9-1, and they lost in the playoffs. Last year you had the Houston Gamblers, who were coached by Kevin Sumlin, who's now getting to coach Tua's little brother, Tully Tagovailoa, with the Miami Hurricanes, who's going to help him get an NFL career, hopefully by when he commits or when he declares in the NFL draft. And they had bad luck winning close games. They were 1-4. Well, this year roles are completely reversed, as the New Jersey Generals are 2-3, and they're struggling in close games. Coming in, they were 0-2, and the New Jersey Generals were on a 3-game winning streak, winning these close games. Well, let's take a look what happened in this game. Did the roles reverse back, or did they stay the same? This is why Papa used to say, Jamie, you always got to believe in the law of average. Anyway, let's get down to this game. So, in the first quarter, Houston, Mark Thompson barrels it in. The 6'4", 230-pound back gambler scores for a 2-yard touchdown. The extra point, good. Houston leads 7-0. We go to the second quarter. Houston, Nick Vogel field goal, good. 10-0 Houston. Then another field goal by Vogel. Houston takes their shot, and their gamble pays off as they lead 13-0 at the half. We go to the third quarter. A field goal, good. Houston leads 16-0. Then Nick Skiba kicks the field goal. The Generals get on the board, and it's 16-3 still. Then in the fourth quarter, late, the Generals decide to go no huddle with their offense. They decide to go tempo, NASCAR, all that coaching jazz with Mike Riley on the little walkie-talkie trying to get the calls out. What a great addition by the USFL that you can hear that stuff that you can't hear in the NFL. So anyway, he throws a touchdown pass to Alonzo Moore. No, not Alonzo Mourning from the Miami Heat. The Alonzo Moore on the New Jersey Generals. The touchdown is good. And Nick Skiba kicks the extra point. So what do the New Jersey Generals do? They go for it on the 4th and 12. Kyle Loyetta, he's about to throw the pass. It looks accurate. It looks good, but what are you going to do, Evan? The defender knocks it down. As Tommy Jackson would say, you knock it down. And unfortunately, the play is no good. The Houston Gamblers, who struggled in close games last year, win their 4th straight, go to 4-2. beat the Generals, who are 16-10. And meanwhile, the Generals, who are winning all their close games now,
You don't have to go upstairs.
excuse me, are now sadly 0-3 in close games. Hobby, if you're listening to this right now, up above, I love you so much. Thank you for teaching me about the law of average, because this is solely true right now. Anyway, back down to earth. The Houston Gamblers lead 16-0, and this proves that the law of average is real.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chris Berman Jr. Back to Driving to the Top Productions with Sports Talking It. Your thoughts on the game?
These gamblers are hot.
Do you think that it's something that is maintainable for the remainder of the season?
I think it is. Mark Thompson makes this team. If he gets hurt, this team could be in trouble.
And that's the question that I was going to ask, because now that I've officially sat down and watched him play, I understand why you brought it up about him being a potential Cleveland Brown. I still have the concerns about him catching passes out of the backfield. But I wanted to ask you this, and Jamie, if Thompson were to go out, do you think Kenji Bahar can control this offense long enough for them to win a championship or even make the playoffs?
I do. I think he's a Lamar Jackson 2.0. There's a reason why, he went to Bengals training camp in 2021 and learned behind Lamar Jackson. He plays, he's like the USFL's Lamar Jackson. He plays an exact similar style like him, that read option style. He's built like him. He's a leader like Lamar Jackson. He's good at throwing on the raw, and he could pick up the first down with his legs like him, and he could lead an offense even without his star running back. So yeah, he could definitely pick the lead without Mark Thompson. I think the backup running back can step up too. Next man mentality, right? League of Opportunity. This is League of Opportunity 2.0, right? The XFL can say League of Opportunity. Well, let's start coining the USFL's League of Opportunity 2.0. We can do that, guys.
Absolutely. So for me, I was surprised that he didn't have a touchdown this week, but to go 19 of 29 for 130 yards with a QBR of 75.4, which is just under league average at 80, they really were able to lean on the run game when it came to Thompson for 22 carries at 82 yards. And that's where my question becomes for running backs that play in these leagues. If you're going to get the opportunity to go play in the NFL and you're carrying the ball 15 to 25 times, can your body really hold up if you're put in a position where you have to carry the ball more than –
Hold on.
All right, if you have to carry the ball more than you would normally would if you were a starter on a team, your season would be a little bit longer. So I would like to ask you that question. As a team that needs really a running back or a stable of running backs in Buffalo, how do you feel that this league affects running backs going into the next level?
I think he's definitely going to get a camp invite, but in terms of making the team now, we'll see.
Fair enough. Do you think the amount of carries that an Abram Smith, that a Corbin or a Thompson gets will really affect them if they were to make it to the NFL?
Well, I think Mark Thompson could actually, I think he could make the team, but I think his carries would be limited. But I think he's a rare type of running back. I think you put him in certain spots. I mean, with his 6'4", 230-pound ability to just crush people like that and break runs after the tackle, and he's agile and quick too. He's not just a power back; like he's got speed for somebody that big.
Absolutely. The two places that I can kind of see him are Philly and Tennessee. And I saw him.
Tennessee makes sense because he's like a Derrick Henry type of replace. Like he could be a Derrick Henry type of replacement and not in Vrabel's offense. That's why.
And I wouldn't even use him as a replacement. I would really use him in the idea that when he's tired and you still got to run the ball, you can still run the same plays with the same amount of power because you got it right there. I'm not saying he's equivalent to Henry, but the idea that he can come in and you wouldn't miss a beat is very could be very useful for a team like that. I think a team, well, before Philly had ended up picking up DeAndre Swift, I felt like that was a place that he could survive. But what about if Mark Thompson were to get picked up by the Jets? Brees Hall coming off an injury. You don't really have another proven back out there. You have a big back. That's something that's always been the case with Brett Favre and for Aaron Rodgers. They've always had their scab back, their receiver back, their shotgun back, a third down back essentially. But then to turn around and hand it to an Aaron Dillon or an Ahman Green to get those tough yards when needed. So, but as we talk about that and the man of the hour is back on the show, what were your did you have any other thoughts or a player of the game before we get out of here?
I would like Mark Johnson to go to the Jets. I think that'd be a good move for them, actually. Because you figure Rodgers is already used to having that little playmaker and then the other playmaker, and we saw it work pretty good in Green Bay.
Absolutely.
Just wanted to throw that out there.
I agree with you on that one. So, Jamie, go ahead and tell everybody where they can find you.
All right. Thanks, guys. This has been the USFL Recap Week 6 on Driving to the Top Productions with me, Jamie Malloy, Evan Brogdon, a.k.a. Talking Sports by the Lake, and Adam McNally, Sports Talking It. And I'm Jamie Malloy, and you can follow me on Twitter account, Jamie Malloy at DJ Dog Tags. My followers are constantly growing, so please follow me there on my YouTube page. You can also check out my my sports football articles on www.defianttakesfootball.com. I'm writing football exclusive websites or football articles exclusively for Syracuse football, Bills, NFL articles, and both spring football leagues, XFL and USFL. So once again, you can follow me on my Twitter account, Jamie Malloy at DJ Dog Tags. Please go follow me there. I'm constantly growing followers. And check out all my spring football, Syracuse Orange, and Bills NFL writing content at www.defianttakesfootball.com. Thank you very much.
No problem. Sports Talking It.
Sports Talking It at Sports Talking It. You can find me there. You can find me at Driving to the Top. Also on the YouTube channel. Evan, you mentioned us all. You mentioned us growing, and I love it. So I love the shape we're in.
We are all in great shape, and it's definitely because of you seeing the dream and giving everybody an opportunity. And as this team comes together here at Driving to the Top Productions, we would like to say everybody who's been giving us views, giving us retweets, any kind of interactions on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, even all over on Twitch, we've been getting some streams and stuff like that. We have some new stuff coming. We have some new content out there. So if you're looking for anything else, look over there for that. You can definitely find me on Twitter at Talking Sports by the Lake. Excuse me, almost combined two different things there. And XFL Football 2023. I love to talk sports, talk life, talk music. You just want to talk, you know how to find me. If you ever need an intro video or anything like that, get at one of us. We all have multiple talents that we can definitely help you with. But from here, we're signing out. Thank you for coming to Driving to the Top Productions USFL Recap of Week 6. We'll see you next week on Tuesday at 8:30. We will see you again on Tuesday at 8:30. See you again, guys.
See you guys. Take care. Have a good night.